Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
How many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted.
So that was sitting California Senator Alex Padilla being thrown out of a meeting for attempting to ask Kristi Noem some questions. He was thrown out, thrown to the ground, and handcuffed. Welcome to 1930s Germany. You know, a while back, folks, I had a listener reach out, and shout out to them if they're listening right now. I in no way mean for this to be combative toward them. They were simply expressing some concerns and making some suggestions. And one suggestion they had and concern they had was, are we using the wrong kind of language? You know, should we really be using words like authoritarianism? Should we really be using words like dictator? Is that being hyperbolic? Does it play into the other side's hand to help paint us as always being hyperbolic and overreacting? And maybe we should dial back the use of those words. And I read the message, and it was very thoughtful, and I appreciated the message. But folks, I really can't think of another word to use other than authoritarianism to describe what it is that we just seen. And I really can't think of another way to kick off this video other than saying welcome to 1930s Germany, because that's where we're at. Donald Trump ran on, we have got to end the weaponization of government. And then we see this. Day in and day out, we're seeing this. We saw him threatening to arrest a sitting governor in Gavin Newsom. We saw that. We have saw him call in the National Guard and go over that governor's head. We have saw him absolutely abuse his power. And so to all the people that says we're headed toward authoritarianism or we're headed toward a dictator, I would say that we're already there. I mean, and it's based on everything that I see every day when I turn on the news. I'm seeing more and more examples of Donald Trump governing just like a dictator in an authoritarian regime. And I can't think of any other words to describe it. But of course, Kristi Noem is trying to lie her way out of this one. And I really do believe that she should absolutely be removed. I think this should be the end of her political career. I don't think she should have another day in any position of power. I don't think she should be allowed to manage a McDonald's going forward. But here we are, and she's attempting to lie her way out of it. But luckily, we've got Midas Touch, who just shows her tell her lie and then exposes the lie side by side. Take a look at this.
Man burst into the room, started lunging towards the podium, interrupting me and elevating his voice, and was stopped, did not identify himself.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary.
So yeah, she's a stone cold liar, and she should honestly just resign and walk away, and we should all just work to try to forget about her, because all she's done so far is cosplay and make a mockery out of everything. And that's exactly what this entire administration is doing. They're simply cosplaying as tough guys. They're cosplaying as leaders, and they're not. They're the furthest thing from it. They can't even take questions from a sitting senator that they don't throw him to the ground and put handcuffs on him. And how many times, folks, have I said here on the channel, and we've all said, if they come for one, they'll come for us all. No one is safe with this type of regime. No one. And even to the people who supports this regime right now and may think this is all funny and may be getting a kick out of it and maybe just sitting back like Jesse Waters, just gleefully watching it all unfold, what you have to understand is you yourself can't step out of line either. And I could sit and show you case after case after case of people who were on Trump's side, stepped out of line one time and got the same kind of treatment. So we're all being governed by a dictator, including MAGA. It's just that they're too stupid to wake up just yet and realize it, but they will. When they speak up and speak out of turn, they'll learn the hard way too. They can laugh all day long at Alex Padilla. It could easily be them if one day they stand up and you know what, I have a question for you. They could easily just be set down. They could be set down just as easily as Alex Padilla was right there. It's totally disgraceful. We should have never been in this boat, and no one, regardless of your political leanings, folks, this is not about Democrat versus Republican. This is about right versus wrong, and that's straight up wrong. But I want to take a minute here to go over and show you Alex Padilla's response to this, because this is truly just some of the darkest times we've ever lived through. And I can't imagine how it would feel to be a sitting senator and be so humiliated that way. It's truly a disgrace. So I want to give him the floor. Take a look.
Hi everyone, this is Senator Alex Padilla. I want to begin this video by just saying thank you to everybody who's reached out to me, to Angela, to my office, expressing your support because of what's happened today. It means the world to me. I certainly have heard your support and I feel your support, so thank you. For those who may not be aware, I was in the federal building in Los Angeles today for a scheduled briefing with representatives of Northern Command because of what's been happening in Los Angeles and Donald Trump's unacceptable escalation of tension here in Los Angeles as the Department of Homeland Security has continued to increase the cruelty and the extremism of their immigration enforcement operations. While I was waiting for the briefing, I learned that just down the hall from where I was, Secretary Noem from the Department of Homeland Security was having a press conference. Now, Secretary Noem and the department we have been calling on and we have been sending letters to since the beginning of the year requesting more information as to what and why they are doing with little to no response. And so I thought, let me go over there and listen in on the press conference. Maybe they're sharing some important information. While I did that, escorted over there by a National Guardsman and an FBI agent, I just heard nothing but increasing political rhetoric. Not once, but on multiple occasions, they're claiming that, well, they're there in full force in Los Angeles because they need to rescue the people of Los Angeles from the governor and from the mayor. And I just couldn't accept the rhetoric anymore. So I had the audacity to try to ask a question. I introduced myself. I'm Senator Alex Padilla, and I have a question. And it took all of maybe a second for multiple agents to forcibly remove me from the room, to pin me on the ground and handcuff me. Now, I'm okay. For people who wondered how I'm doing, I'm okay. But the big lesson here is if they can do that to me, if they're willing to do that to me, a United States Senator, with a question, doing my job on behalf of the people of California and our country, what are they doing to a lot of the folks that are out there when the cameras are not on? Not the dangerous, violent criminals that they say they're targeting. I have no issue with that. But I'm talking about all the otherwise law-abiding, undocumented immigrants who are so key to our economy and so valued in our communities.
You know, folks, he's right. If they can do that to a sitting senator on camera, what are they doing to the workers off camera? That's something that people should really stop and think about. And something else that people should really stop and think about is that we are actually a nation of immigrants. And before, years ago, we celebrated people coming to this country and making a better way for themselves. I did a video just a couple of days ago, yesterday actually, I believe it was. The days run together on me, folks, to be honest with you. But I did a video where I went back and showed clips of Reagan and both Bushes, Bush Sr. and W., talking about immigration and talking how that's what makes our country strong, and talking about people coming here as our strength. And the day that Reagan said, the day that we close our borders and we stop people from coming here is the day that we will no longer lead in this world. And so that's how far the Republican Party has fallen. But we really need to stop and think about everything that we're seeing right now. I know that we're dealing with the MAGA cult and they get off on this WWE style of rhetoric. But people that have common sense and people that wants to see the Constitution followed and the rule of law respected, they're going to have to come together, regardless of their political leanings, regardless of whether they agree on every single issue. We're never going to agree on everything. I don't expect us to. I have friends who I have very strong disagreements with, and we're okay. We can still remain friends with that. It's okay to disagree with one another. But one thing we do have to come together and agree on is that this is wrong. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, somewhere in between, you're far left, far right, somewhere in the middle, it makes no difference. You have to stop and really ask yourself, is this worth it? Is this the America that we really want to live in? Where a sitting senator gets thrown to the ground and handcuffed for asking a question. And I'm so sick and tired of watching these right-wing outlets and right-wing influencers frame and shape this stuff. Yesterday, I went to a neighboring town to one of my favorite restaurants. I just wanted to get out of the house for a little while and eat with the family and get away. And, I'd made some videos to come out, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to get away for a minute, and we're going to, go over here to this place that's really, really good, and we're going to have some good food. And we did. The food is always on point, but unfortunately, the TV is always on Fox News. And so I'm sitting there trying to get that off my mind, but I'm seeing these ridiculous comments, and I end up sitting with my back to the TV because it's just, I couldn't look at it because the headlines was so over the top ridiculous. Democratic senator barges in on Kristi Noem. Who would have known Trump could have been a flutist? I mean, the headlines was so over the top and in your face, and these people sitting there trying to justify this and be okay with this. And I just sat there and I was like, you know, this is some really good down-home Southern cooking right here. It truly is. This is the very best of what we've got here. And that's the absolute worst. The people sitting there glued to that going, yeah, man, some Democratic senator coming there like a maniac. No, that's not what happened at all. And this is not the America that my grandfather fought for. And even though he was a lifelong Republican, I just cannot see him being for this if he was here today. My mom told me the story of the day that JFK was assassinated. My grandfather was a lifelong Republican, voted straight down the ticket Republican until the day he died. He voted against Kennedy, and he was not a fan of Kennedy. But when Kennedy was assassinated, my mom saw my grandfather cry. And he wasn't the type of guy to cry in front of people, but he did. He broke down over JFK because he realized just what a dark moment it was, and it was like, we may disagree on politics, but this isn't the world we want to live in. He saw that back then, and we should see that today. This is not the world we should want to live in. And what you don't have to do is you're going to have to really block out the trolls, put them over there in the box they belong in, the troll box. Just stick them over there. When you see them flexing, when you see them saying, Democratic senator barged in, just stick them over there in that box and get back to talking about the issues at hand with sensible people who wants a better America. That's how we win. We come together and we drown out that loud noise. And we do it on behalf of people like Alex Padilla and on behalf of the workers who we've not saw the way they've been treated when the camera wasn't rolling.